I couldn't pick up a church building and drop it in a better place than 425 10th Street Northwest. This building is a miracle. It sits on 1 acre. We called it God's Acre in Atlanta. Has a 260-seat sanctuary, a dozen Sunday school rooms, nurseries, office space, and a fellowship hall. The parking lot has over 40 spaces, which is nearly impossible to find in the city. Its placement in the midst of a neighborhood gives us access to families, young professionals, and students.
We're just across the street from the Georgia Tech campus. Our church is connected by a crosswalk to 40,000 students from around the globe.
It's been an amazing first year for the City Baptist Church. We've seen souls saved, people baptized, and Christians growing in the Lord. Previously, we shared a space with another church. That became increasingly difficult as we grew, and eventually that church asked us to find another place. But that's just what the Lord used to lead us here to 10th Street. This church building has been abandoned for 3 years. It was not for sale. It was purchased by land developers with plans to knock it down and build a high-rise in its place. That's the story of church buildings across our city. I could take you to church buildings that have been turned into rock concert venues, nightclubs, comedy clubs, Buddhist temples, or entirely knocked down to make room for something else. The fact that this church building is still standing is a testimony to the fact that God has more for it. Through incredible circumstances, we were able to meet the owners of this building and negotiate a lease purchase agreement. That means we may purchase this building at any time in the next 3 years. The purchase price is $4 million. We're praying the Lord will bring that money in by March the 12th, 2023. One reason for that is our rent does not go toward the purchase price. Now, I know $4 million is a lot of money, and I don't ask this lightly of you, but will you give toward the purchase of this property? We cannot buy this property on our own. We couldn't even get a conventional loan if we wanted to because we're such a young church and we don't have $4 million in the bank. However, we know for sure this is the property the Lord has for the City Baptist Church. Before we asked others to give, our church took up a loaves and fishes offering. Just as the lad gave his 5 loaves and his 2 fishes, we also gave what we had to the Lord to meet the need, and we're trusting Him to multiply it as only He can. So far, our church family has given $79,100.50. Now, to raise the $4 million, we would need 400 churches or individuals to give $10,000. Our church has given the equivalent of 8 of those already. And maybe you don't have $10,000, but you want to send your loaves and fishes too. You can give online at mycitybaptist.com/give, or you can mail your check made out to City Baptist Church to P.O. Box 55512, Atlanta, Georgia 30308. I know there are many wonderful needs out there, and I don't even feel worthy to ask you of this, but here's what I know. God has given us a beachhead in this city if we will only have the faith to take it. When the U.S. invaded Normandy, it came at overwhelming cost, a cost we would not have been otherwise inclined to pay. But we needed a beachhead. The cost of taking enemy territory always comes at a high price. That is what this building represents. We need an independent Baptist church inside this city. It's not just about a building. It's about retaking territory that has long been ceded to the devil. It's not just about a church. It's about seeing other churches spring forth from this location. The Lord has already sent us future church planters, and we're praying He sends us many more. Some of you have been praying God would put a New Testament Bible-preaching church back inside the city of Atlanta for years. Atlanta is going to host national and international events in the coming years. The world is coming to us. Will you help us now? Help us take God's Acre in Atlanta.